once again time for me to kind of tell a story, but also just have some fun, relax a little bit, and try to paint something from my memory. Funny thing about today is that I was thinking about a few things during the week. I'm always reflecting. You know, that's what happens when you get old. Let's take a little of that, and a little of that. And I'm going to take a little phthalo blue, mix it in with a little black. Clean off our knife. I don't like this knife, to be honest with you. I ended up getting a smaller knife, but it'll have to do for now. And just going to get a little on here. And start building our sky. And this has already been pre-coated. But the whole point today is, I was thinking of my uncle. I've been thinking about him a lot. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would like half the things I like, or have the imagination that I have. He was such a, well, new brush, new hair, right? Whenever you get a hair on your canvas, always use the corner of your brush to pull it off, and then you can pull it out. But getting back to what I was talking about, there's just somebody, I'm just going to drag this down. He's somebody I really looked up to, and he died about, oh, I'd say about, has to be about 13 years ago. Now, we weren't very far apart in age, believe it or not. He was the youngest brother of my mom. But he was a Woodstock hippie. He loved Jimi Hendrix, David Bowie. We'll save all those stories for another time. That's what we want. Nice little dark sky. And it's kind of funny because I would never like Godzilla or any of the things that I like now if it wasn't for him and his influences. And this was a guy that could make a Godzilla movie hysterical. He was something special, that's for sure. He was just somebody that just had an amazing, amazing life, and I was thinking how young I was and impressionable, and some of the things he would pull on me. I don't like that. I think I'm going to go with the fan brush instead. Add a little more white here. There we go. That's what we want. And I think I'll take my fan brush, load it up real good. And there we go. Add a little bit more white. Mixed a little red in there. And let's really load that up real good. So we get some really nice, there we go. And go right off the canvas. A lot of clouds that day. A lot of clouds that day. Let me just add one more in here, why not? I only have this one just go kind of right off. Let's put that down. And let's take a clean brush and just work them in there. Just with the corner of the brush. You can switch hands if you feel more comfortable. Which sometimes I do. And just work them, not touching the tops. And just ever so lightly. Just pull them up to the sky. Got a hair there. New brushes, that's why. There you go, just use the corner of your brush. Just make them disappear. There we go, we got some clouds. Let's clean up some of these brushes. So, when I was growing up, he used to live in the inner city, and my grandmother was still alive, if I remember. But he always used to come out for weekends and stuff like that to spend time with us, because he liked it out in the country. Good living, free meals, all the good things in life. And my mom would just cook and cook and cook and cook. That's what Polish moms do. My father was Italian, so she had to cook. So, we would just spend time watching Creature Double Feature, and he'd just tell me these incredible stories, and you know, being a hippie and being a little different. He used to build models and paint. I think that's where I get a lot of it from. It's from him. And I was thinking about that this week as I was doing this segment, and started thinking about what I wanted to do next. So now we got those clouds up there. What we're going to do here is mix up a little phthalo blue and some crimson, and we're going to use my big round brush, and we're going to put some trees in there. We're just going to tap this brush and get some paint on it. And I guess we can start right there. Just want these guys kind of a little bit in the distance. And just make a kind of a decision where I want them. Let's make this one a little bit bigger. Stand out a little bit more. Yeah, I think that fits in pretty good. Now, put this dirty brush aside right here. And just with that end of my brush, I'm actually going to put this down a little bit. I'm just going to give the illusion of some mist. And just come up a little bit. Ever so lightly. And we'll put another line of small trees. And we're going to make them a little closer. And we'll tap the bottom of those. Clean off that brush. Let's just scoop this out of the way a little bit. Now I'm just going to take a little Van Dyke brown, a little thinner. I'm going to use my liner brush. Start putting in some trunks here as I see fit. And just some branches. Let's put a little more here. Mix that in there real good and tighten that brush real tight. So and don't worry if I mess it up a bit, because we still got to put some distance leaves on it. Get a little more thinner. Get that nice and there we go. Just give it a little bit of flavor right there. That's all we want to do. I like putting that in there. Little one there. There's the little guy right there. There we go. Alright, now that we got those branches, let's take a little yellow, little sap green, little candium yellow, and just let's load up this brush here. Just kind of don't want to take it all out. Just want to give it a little bit of a background. I don't want to take all the darkness I put in there, because it'll take away the shade that I built. That's what we don't want to do. Alright, I think that works. Clean up this brush. Alright, I think we're going to try to put a waterfall in. I don't know how successful this will be. I'm going to grab a whole bunch of this dark blue here. And I'm just going to come with this and go woof. Alright, let's see how that does. Very dark blue. Sorry I got distracted for a minute. I had to handle a family thing. And I forgot to turn it back on, but started putting some rocks in here. Just took some Van Dyke brown and then just highlighted it with a little mixture of white and brown. So now I've got my rock in there. I'm going to try to add water. Alright, now we got our thinned down paint. Let's see how this turns out. Now all we want to do is just make the water like splashing up against those rocks. More paint on here. And then right when I think we got where we want it, just get a little more here. Add that in. And then do it again. And that's where our waterfall is going to come from. And maybe it ends right there. All we want to do is just take and push up. Make it look like it's hitting the rocks there. And the waterfall actually has a significance, believe it or not. It looks like it. There's a little. It's a little area there. As it splashes. Now and then. There we go. We have ourselves a little bit of a waterfall. We can change things around a little bit. Just make the water move a little more. Funny thing is the whole story that goes with this. And the waterfall actually plays quite a significant part in it. Alright, now we're going to take and we're going to take that fan brush and we're going to mix up a little bit of, a lot of yellow, and just a touch of that green. That yellow is bright. And we're going to wipe that off. I'm just going to take my little fan brush, which should be clean, turn it on, make sure that it is. The funny thing is I got like 4 of these things and I don't use them all at the same time. We're going to load that up nice. And now we're just going to add some. There we go. Add a little paint thinner to it to make it a little thinner. And just like a little grassy area in there. There we go. Let's go. Looks like a disaster. So I was hoping I'd be able to get this. Looks like it's going to be a tough one for me today. on the other side. Straight, just Van Dyke brown. Just a nice dark brown. Boy, that's thick on there. This is one of those times you wish you can go away and start all over again. But we'll stick with it. All right. Looks like it's containing the water pretty well. Our little waterfall. I want to take away from the waterfall. There we go. Alright, what to do next? I'm just trying to take and make small little ledges here, but really just kind of not give too much away. So it looks like a rock ledge a little bit. Alright, I'm going to try to give this thing a little curve so it looks a little bit more, it should be. So I took a little blue. I'm just going to come in here like that. Just a little bit of highlight there. Give a little bit of a shadow. That's all we want to do. Just create like a ledge. All right. It's time to cover up some of these mistakes with a giant bush or tree. So I'm going to take some Van Dyke brown, some alizarin red, crimson, a little sap green, and oh god, let's just start. Let's just put them right in here. Touch that. There we go. Just get a lot of paint on that brush. That looks about right. While we're at it, let's put another one right here. Now I'm just going to take a little more of the white and just draw out my trunk. And it doesn't matter how bad it looks right now because it's actually going to be covered up once I start putting the leaves on. And that is the idea for that. I'm going to clean up this brush and try to get this a little bit under control here. Boy, it's really looking like a fallish type of day picture. It's probably something I had on my mind. Now I'm just highlighting the ground a little bit. So when I start putting in my highlights, it'll all look like a rocky basin. Alright. Let's see how this will turn out. Let's get those trees all done and we'll get some nice color into them. We'll load some liquid white, some yellow, maybe a little sap green. Let's mix that all together, see what we get. I want to use the magic white because we have a lot of paint on there and we want to make that nice and thin so it goes on real nice. Let me just add just a hair bit of thinner. There we go. So that goes on there just right. And let's just start here. Down. Mix that in just a hair more. Maybe just a touch of the thinner. Add in there. Alright, we're almost there. Just a couple more. Couple more strokes in there. And that extend out a little more. And we're almost there. I'm going to try to salvage this a little bit. I ran into a little problem. I just got too much paint on my brush and I started making mud. But that happens. I think the whole bottom of this is that, you know, I'm trying to learn again and come back into my own. Once it dries, I think I'll be able to fix it and go over a few things. I want to fix this area here and just kind of get everything where I need to get it. Right now it's okay, especially for the story I'm going to tell. Well, my uncle was the dearest person that I ever had in my life, and every once in a while he'd tell us the story that underneath a waterfall, and we would always go hiking and stuff like that, or attempt to go hiking. He took us twice to this place called Sleeping Giant. First time was just to play in the park and have lunch together. Him and his girlfriend at the time, which was ages ago. I think I was about 10, 11, somewhere in there. Well, Sleeping Giant Park is shaped like a giant. And he used to tell me at the time, underneath the waterfalls were trolls, and that they were always following us in the forest. So finally we begged them and we begged them to try to take us up to this castle, because he used to tell us there was a castle at the top of the mountain. Well, we started hiking up, and of course, you know, after having lunch, and before you know it, the day just kind of slips away. And it was too late to make it all the way to the top of the mountain. But I remember going by a waterfall on our way, and he kept on telling me that there were trolls underneath, trolls underneath. Well, we never made it up to that castle. And for years and years and years, I wondered if there was even a castle, because he would tell me that that's where the king of all the trolls were, and there were all kinds of monsters. And at that same time, there was a movie. It was called Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. And there were these little troll things that used to hide under the thing, and they dragged the girl in. If you saw the movie now, you'd just laugh because it's so pathetic. But the fact was, I'm a 9-year-old, 11-year-old kid, and I'm terrified. Well, for years and years and years, I would think every time we walked on that path that there was something always watching us. So finally I get to about 16, 17, I think I was 17 years old, and a bunch of my friends decided to walk the entire path. And I can never remember. We were almost to the top, but we had to go back down because he had to go to work. That's what it was. So I never found out if there was even that, you know, a castle up there. So hanging around with my bunch of friends one Saturday, I said, come on, I want to go to the top of the face of the mountain, because the mountain was just a giant face, and then it looked, I mean, head, and then it would go, and then there was a big body, and then a foot. Now this would be about 10, 15 miles, and you could see it in the distance. It looked like a giant sleeping, thus the sleeping giant. Yeah, Lil, I'm getting to the end of the story. So finally, we decided to go up, and we went all the way up to the top. And I said, I knew there was no castle. I knew he was full of malarkey. I knew it. And we kept walking on the path, and sure enough, there was a castle up there. I mean, it wasn't the biggest thing in the world, but it was a castle nonetheless. Of course, what it turned out to be was a drinking point for all kinds of teenagers, which I never even knew. But I always thought of him, and every time I go home and drive by there, because you have to drive by Meriden to go see my daughter. Can I finish the story? Thank you. You would go up there and you would see the giant sleeping giant, and I would think of my uncle. He died way too young. He was in his early 50s. I think he was 52, as a matter of fact. It was an unfortunate accident. And I miss him very much. He was very, very dear to me. Now, I swear that I'm going to get better at this. It's just been so long since I've done this. But, for my second painting, it's alright. We'll get there. And I'll keep working on stuff. This was kind of a big challenge to even try to do this. But I just felt that the waterfall thing had to come into play, and I had to tell the story. So with that said, that's the end of Canvas Stories. Thanks so much for watching and putting up with my horrible painting. Next week we'll try something different. Maybe we'll try something easy and work our way to the harder stuff instead of doing waterfalls. I've got a story in me that I want to tell you guys next week, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to edit this down so it's not an hour. I like to keep it to about a half hour. These areas will be fixed, and I'll show you in a vlog next week what it'll look like. But I think you get the gist of what I was trying to accomplish here. So, tomorrow, if you get a chance, watch Battle and Brushes, 10:30 a.m. I'm going to be on there. Me and Sam Healy going at it to the death. I have to drive almost 4 hours to go do this. So I better win. Until next time, folks, we'll see you. And don't forget to stay tuned for all the content this weekend. Bye now.